Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Greg DeSell from Markertek. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Markertek's webinar series. As today we welcome our partners from Artel Video Systems. We've set aside about 30 to 45 minutes for today's presentation, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So please take note of the Q&A section of your Zoom control panel and drop any questions in there. And of course, if we can't get to any today, we will follow up after the presentation today. Also, if you're experiencing any technical issues with your video or audio, please alert us in the chat section. Markertek has been an Artel partner for many years, with our roots going all the way back to communication specialties. The line has evolved tremendously over the past several years, expanding beyond fiber extenders to SMPTE ST2110 gateways, as well as PTP-aware media over IP and iRig timecode solutions. Artel is a trusted name by the highest level of government agencies, including NASA, the military, and more. And here to tell us more and provide all the details are Paul Seiden and Rafael Fonseca. Welcome, gentlemen, and thanks for being with us today. Please introduce yourselves.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. And yes, my name is Paul Seiden. I'm the Director of International and Channel Sales for Artel Video. And with me is my colleague, Rafael Fonseca, who's our Vice President of Product Management and Marketing. Welcome, Raf.
Oh,
and Greg, and yes, Greg, thanks very much. I mean, I was thinking about earlier before this webinar, I think we've known each other for 30 years. So we've been doing work for quite a long period of time. Nice. Now that we're aging ourselves. So again, yes. Welcome everybody, and thank you for your time today. And thank you, Markertek Video, for allowing Artel some time to talk about our products and really focusing on our installations in a variety of different government installations, applications. So I'm just going to hop right into it and give a little overview of Artel Video Systems. We'd like talking about amazing experiences that our customers have with our products. We are based outside of Boston, Massachusetts, in a town called Westford, Massachusetts. That's where all of our manufacturing, engineering, testing, assembly, our corporate offices are. Personally, I'm based in Florida. I'm down in Tampa, Florida. Rafael is up near our Massachusetts office. We also have sales offices in Colorado and Arizona, and our engineering director is based in the UK. Like Markertek Video, we are also an ESOP, an employee-owned company, so go ESOPs. Artel is known as a pioneer in video transport. Started back in 1981 with our largest customer base right away, were the telecommunications providers for back then analog video and audio transport for private enterprises, government agencies. You can see from some of these logos down below, we've been involved with many mission critical in many mission critical environments, from different sports networks to the White House, where all of the current White House press releases, press announcements are coming on one of our product line, our DigiLink, our premier product line, our DigiLink product line, which goes over Verizon Fiber into their network operations center. So people look to our solutions for mission critical for dark fiber transport, as well as media over IP, as Greg was alluding to. We're now introducing gateways for SMPTE 2110, SMPTE ST2022, for a variety of different markets and applications. We've been involved in numerous sporting events, political events. As I mentioned, our customers, including the military and defense government agencies, are looking for us to support mission critical live events, carrier grade type product as well. So just a quick overview here of what we're going to be talking about. Our FiberLink product line, which, as Greg said, includes iRig timing, which is an excellent time code for NASA and other military organizations. And that's probably one of our #1 product lines, our iRig time code over fiber products that are used across the board in many different government agencies. We also have QuadLink 4K, so 4K 3G SDI for camera inspection on different shuttle launches, rocket launches that have been used over the years and different military bases. Audio and data and video communication among vessels. We've done a lot of Navy carrier vessels, submarines, where maybe fiber is needed for lightweight and security. many 3G, HD, SD applications with or without audio and PTZ control. Our SMPTE ST21 gateway is our newest FiberLink product line. We're getting more involved in IP media gateways and transport as well, which is becoming far more popular. I'll also highlight our Quara PTP switches that are been recently installed in a large government agency to synchronize all of their GPS clocks across multiple buildings. And our newest product, I don't know if many of you are using the ROS OpenGear platform for some of your video and audio and data transport needs, but we're proud to announce that we now are an OpenGear partner and have a software-defined gateway that is available for that platform that'll do JPEG 2000 compression and coming up with JPEG XS compression as well. Please note that all of our products are available from Markertek Video on their GSA schedule if you have the authorization to purchase on GSA. And here is an overview of a variety of our product lines, from our DigiLink, which I mentioned is being used in the White House for fiber and IP media transport. Our OpenGear card that will go in the ROS OpenGear chassis, our Quara PTP switches, which is heavily used in for audio, AES-67, but also for GPS synchronization and timing, as I mentioned. And then our FiberLink product, which is still probably one of the industry's broadest product lines, supporting video formats from traditional analog NTSC and PAL up to 12G SDI now. We have box solutions and card solutions, as well as our 2110 gateway. All of our products are made in the USA. I'll get started here with our FiberLink overview. Most people know them for our throwdown boxes. But we also do have card cage capabilities for this, as you can see on the left, and a card version on the right there. With our FiberLink product line, we've optimized the optics and do them internally. So this product line does not use external SFPs for the vast majority of our products. So we can use internal CWDM optics to multiplex many signals over a single strand of fiber. It allows us to do one-way or two-way communication. You can mix and match boxes and cards. SMPTE compliance and just interoperability is very important to Artel Video for whether it's optical transport over fiber, whether it's different SDI products between our different InfinityLink, DigiLink, FiberLink product lines. On the copper side, they're all interoperable, meeting SMPTE standards. And of course, also for our IP gateway products, meeting a variety of ST 2022 and 2110 standards as well. So first, I want to highlight specifically our XARA 1900 series, which is our iRig timecode product. It meets all the different NASA NBS standards for instrumentation timecode up to 100 kilohertz. We support all iRig protocols A through H, which is very important. I do get specifically asked for B or H or G, depending on the application. Also know that Artel, it's very important, depending on what fiber you have installed, to be able to support multi-mode and single mode. So Artel, we're very proud within our FiberLink and also our DigiLink InfinityLink product lines that we do have options and versions to support either multi-mode fiber or single mode fiber, single strand, multi-strand, depending what you have available. So across all of our product lines, we do have the ability to offer multiple different options depending on what your requirements are. So this is a traditional point-to-point. There's a transmitter and receiver for iRig. Our iRig products are used controlling all the water flow gates at the Hoover Dam, as an example. They're used for accurate controlling of rocket launches and at different test ranges from SPAWAR and such. So this is a unique product that doesn't fit into our traditional video and audio product lines that is really focused very on military applications, government applications. Our newest entry, as more people are focusing on single stream 12G SDI, is we have now a 12G SDI transceiver that we can offer. So this will take in single stream 12G SDI or 3G HD SD It is a true transceiver, so you would take one of those BNC inputs you see on the left-hand side. It would get your input there, then there's a loop out on the transmit section to go downstream to other products. And then the receive section gives you dual outputs if you need to maybe go to a master control switch or a display for local monitoring. This is one of our FiberLink products that does use an SFP. It is a 12G SDI video-based SFP, meeting our high quality standards. If you just need to transport one way, you would need one fiber. Two-way for return, you would need two fibers. Now, some of our customers may use 12G upstream because that's their source, but they may want confidence monitoring coming back and just use SD or HD for the return video feed. Again, this meets all different SMPTE standards. It has a locking power connector as well as mounting holes if you need to make this into a portable location as well. Our other brand new introduction just started shipping this past month is our FiberLink ST2110 gateway. So there are more cameras and other devices out there during this COVID season. People talk about remote production, and SMPTE had developed the 2110 standard in conjunction with the AIMS organization, where for a lot of portable transport for IP, you'll see ST2110 being used. So we'll support all of the ST2110 timing standards, audio transport. If you do need seamless or hitless switching protection, that'll be supported by the two 10 gig trunk ports as well here. And then the one thing that makes ST2110 different than ST2022, if you're not familiar, is you still need a PTP synchronization capability in a 2110 stream, which teams it up perfectly with our Quara PTP switch, which we'll be talking about shortly as well. So for a traditional gateway, this will do 2 HDs or 3Gs upstream and 2 HD or 3Gs return downstream. We have customers that are testing this now on their cameras. Hitachi and others and Sony have developed cameras that have an ST2110 output. So you can simply connect this on the receive side to convert that back to HD or 3G, should that be needed to get into your production switcher, master control, multi-viewer, et cetera. So this is, it's a small portable box. And it would be configured through this management control port. It will support NMOS, which is becoming very popular for video configurations as well. And this is a sample of how that would be needed for the PTP. So you can see a PTP Grandmaster with NMOS control going between two of our ST2110 devices. Again, this does meet the ST2110 SMPTE protocol and interop, so this will work with other 2110 devices as well. And to continue with our FiberLink product line, just to show the breadth of products that we offer, over one strand of fiber, we can offer support for bidirectional 3G up to 3G SDI, also with bidirectional audio for communication, serial data, meaning RS-232, 422, 485, contact closure, as well as a 10-100 base T Ethernet port. And this will work over one or two strands of single mode fiber. So could be used for remote production. It can be used for secure video conferencing as well, where you will not need, if you have your own dark fiber between two locations, you will not need to have a separate video audio codec. That could all be done through this 3390 or FiberLink 3394 series. So we have subsets of this where we can do a one-way HD or 3G video along with the rest of the audio and data. We have versions where we just do audio and data only for communication compliant needs, which we've just done recently with General Dynamics. And again, we have a litany of different military organizations we've worked in. As Greg said, the FiberLink product line came from Communication Specialties that I'd worked for going back since 1992. So we've had a variety of military applications working in most Air Force and Marine bases, Army bases, Navy ships, etc. As I mentioned, we do composite video as well, composite video with audio, DVB-ASI, SDI. We still offer VGA and DVI transport as well. And our VGA and DVI also include audio to go with that. You can use our DVI product also with a simple DVI to HDMI converter that you can get from, or cable you can get from Markertek to allow you to transport HDMI. We just don't support the HDCP content protection. We are also one of the only manufacturers that does standalone audio only products. So we could do up to 32 channels of audio on a single strand of fiber. We also could do bidirectional audio for comms. And then we also have a variety of different audio embedders and de-embedders for SDI that will also externally embed or de-embed the audio within the SDI stream. For those that are heavily based onto data meaning Ethernet, we do have a standalone 10100 1 gig Ethernet converter, or some people call them media converters. We also have standalone RS data, and it does media protocol conversion, where you can come in RS-232 on the transmit side and then convert it to 422 or 485 on the receive side, or vice versa. We find that used quite heavily in a lot of different nuclear facilities for the government as well. And then, of course, I mentioned our iRig timecode capabilities. I welcome you to visit the Markertek website or the Artel video website to see other devices, FiberLink devices we have. As you could see in the middle on the top here with the hand, we do have actually a battery operated 3G SDI link. So it'll run for 5 hours on a lithium 9-volt battery, which is great if you don't have an external power source, depending where you're going. So you can maybe use that for the transmit or receive side, depending on the need. Our 3355, which is in the upper right-hand corner, that'll actually take an optical SDI stream and it'll receive it and convert it to DVI in the receiver. So depending on your display, if you don't have an SDI display, but if you have a DVI or HDMI display, you can convert that to DVI for the display. All of our fiber products are real-time, uncompressed transports. So we are looking traditionally for our own dark fiber, but we do have options with CWDM modules. If you tell us a specific wavelength you need to share fiber with other products, we can potentially do that and offer that as well. As I mentioned about interop, here is an application for, here we're showing a sports venue, but this could be any venue where you may need the small portable devices within the venue. Going out to a broadcast production truck where you may use our InfinityLink products, and then going up to a network operations center for broadcast using our DigiLink, which is a more dense, more slots to transport to other different broadcast customers. Our 4K product, as I mentioned earlier, we have done 4K inspection on a number of different military bases for the quality for rocket inspection. That's our 3514 product, where it'll take the quad 3G over a single strand of fiber, over multi-mode or single mode, or this can do independent HDs, 3Gs, SDs over fiber, depending on the application as well. We have this installed in a lot of different government agencies, such as the New York State Senate, the Texas legislature, depending on what level of the government you may be working for, to take Senate recordings back to their master control within the facility. We also work with the U.S. Senate Recording Studio to take all of the audio and video that's being recorded or presented within the U.S. Senate. They're a heavy user of our FiberLink products as well. Mobility for many of you may be very important as well. You know, through Tower Products or Markertek Video, you can get tactical grade fiber on a reel, which goes great with our battery operated SDI product, as I was mentioning before. Roll that out so you're getting real time, no latency, uncompressed video, audio, or data, whichever our products. We've done some work with some of the military customers for the aerostats, which you see in the lower right corner, where it's actually a tethered aerostat or blimp that may have a few hundred meters of fiber that is looking over for maybe an earthquake or over a mountain to look for bad guys, where they can't have it done wirelessly or over IP because of the latency. You need the real-time live information for different tactical reasons. Moving on to our Quara PTP switches. And again, I'm going to let Raphael and Greg, if there's any questions that pop up that we need to address as we go through, please just let us know, and I'll pause. But our Quara PTP switches, PTP standing for Precision Time Protocol, we have a couple of excellent white papers that explain the need for Precision Time Protocol, talking about different boundary clock and transparent clock and the advantages for your network design. So this is a traditional Ethernet switch that is a managed PTP switch. We meet all of the IEEE 1588 synchronization standards, SMPTE 2059 standards, and SMPTE 2110 standards as well. This will handle audio. Our larger customers now are more of the audio console manufacturers, supporting AES 67, which is the audio over IP, but also video over IP. If you're using compressed video that gets down to under 1 gigabit, those can be used on our inputs here. We have two flavors. Where our 10 gig or 24 port, it's 24 1 gig ports that support 10, 100, 1 gig. And then we have two 10 gig trunk ports. So we recently had an application for an Army facility that needed to take from a Grandmaster the GPS signal down range to synchronize some of their different data timing protocols. So this was the perfect solution for that application. The bottom unit is what we call our 1 gig Quara. It has 8 10, 100, 1 gig Ethernet ports and two 2.5 gig trunk ports. The 2.5 gig trunk ports are perfect depending on the compression that's being used. If you're taking maybe 4K down to 1.5 gig or 1.25 gig, which are common standards we've come across, you could use those ports to synchronize it as well. Like a normal switch, you could do link aggregation, you have quality of service, all the traditional standards you would see. We do have a built-in web GUI to do the configuration. And we've worked very hard with other manufacturers of different devices, whether it's a Grandmaster, clock Grandmaster, GPS Grandmaster device, other audio devices, to create different configuration guides to give recommendations of what would be best when you're setting up a variety of different media transport or synchronization requirements. For government customers also, we have some government customers that have want 0 offset. Our timing for our standard Quara gets down to 4 nanoseconds. We're in the nanosecond range. But if you want 0 offset, we have Sync-E or Synchronous Ethernet option card for our 1 gig, which has been used in a few different government applications around the world to give you the most accurate timing that may be needed as well. We are a hardware timestamp product. Some of the newer devices introduced are adding PTP, but it's a software timestamp, so it's not as accurate. And also it may only be supporting transparent clock, where most of the manufacturers of broadcast equipment are recommending boundary clock for setting up the network. There are advantages for both. Again, I welcome you to visit our website or the Markertek website to request the white papers that we've written that have explained that. There's also a standard AVB for audio video bridging that we have a configuration standard for as well. We are a layer 2 switch that does have some layer 3 capability. We have the ability to do thousands of VLANs, so you can do, that is another advantage we find versus some of the competitors that may have limited number of VLANs. Again, full quality of service, port mirroring, link aggregation, spanning tree control, the multicast, SNMP, our own GUI, or the CLI. As I was mentioning, we could also do CLI as well. And this is just an example of quite a large network that we've done with Calrec, who makes some audio consoles. What I'm trying to show here is if you see some of the switches with the red and green here, We're getting the feed from a SoundFX Grandmaster to generate the GPS timing. And then we have separate red and green networks, so we could actually do redundancy within the switch, or externally, as you can see at the bottom, there's separate switches where we could do separate isolation. So depending on the network, we have that flexibility to be able to offer for depending on the network. I do want to say also, we do have our own crystal oscillators in this unit since it does the hardware timestamping. So we actually tune our clocks to the external GPS or Grandmaster. So if there is any issue with the external clock, we actually tune our crystals to that time where we will take over as that Grandmaster for a momentary time until the Grandmaster actually comes back on. So that's another advantage we find, as well as low power and low noise. I mentioned our IP gateways earlier, and our smart delivery platform is where it started, where it is a software-defined platform to take in multiple SD, HD, 3Gs, as well as GigE Ethernet, and basically encapsulate that all into an ST2022 transport for uncompressed. And we're also now offering JPEG 2000 compression. We won an award for this from the IABM, an international business organization, mainly because we offer something very unique. We have an internal layer 2-3 switch engine built in. So if you have a small network, it affords you better operational efficiency, where you don't need other external switches to be connected to our devices to do the transport. It is a deploy once, upgrade the software in the field when there's future different compression algorithms that we decide to support. You would just buy an additional license for that different compression algorithm that are constantly being worked on. We do a few unique things within our device here as well. Besides the auto sensing for each video input and the multicasting, the unicasting, we do have 2 large FPGAs on this product, so we'll support multiple mirror images of the software that we want to load into it. So if for one application, you may need to do uncompressed ST2022 transport, you can just through the GUI configure it for that. If you need compression because of the next location, you only have maybe a 1 gig network, we can also install the J2K compression firmware to the FPGA. There are not separate licenses for transmitters, receivers. One of the unique things that we do is through our GUI, you choose whether you want this to be a transmit or encoder or receive decoder. So again, if you're deploying this in different places and different locations, if one application you need point to point, you can set multiple units for transmit and then receive. But if the next application is you need more multicast, you could set a single unit for the transmit and the other units for the decode, the receive. We support the seamless switching, the hitless switching as an option in this as well. We have a great white paper that we've written on hitless switching that would be available again on our website or through our friends at Markertek Video. We do also do bandwidth limitations. So if you don't have your own network and you're sharing a network that has a bandwidth limitation, even though we may have a 10 gig trunk port as the interface, again, it can be configured for 1 gig for compression. But if you're only putting through maybe 3 HDs that use 4.5 gigabit, even though the interface is 10 gig, the traffic will only be 4.5 gig, which again, may be advantageous depending on the network that you're using if you're sharing bandwidth with other devices. Full VLAN tagging, service and carrier tagging. We handle all sorts of the standard frame, the jumbo frames. So there are, this is an example of the different video formats, all the traditional HD broadcast video formats, 3G, all the audio embedding is supported, all of the ancillary data from teletext and closed caption and timecode is supported, that's embedded. And then this for our J2K, this just shows the amount of compression that we could offer. So for SD, HD inputs, we can compress as low as 50 megabits or keep it higher up closer to 200 megabits. And then for 3G, it goes between 100 and 400 megabits. These are controlled in 5 megabit increments. So depending on what you feel is the sweet spot, depending on your input, you can control and configure that for your specific requirements. For uncompressed, you probably have heard of different ST 2022 standards from -1 to -5 with forward error correction. FEC stands for forward error correction. We support all of that as well. And again, for unicast or multicast. Excuse me for a moment. And then based out of this, we developed, because of the deployment and popularity of the Ross OpenGear chassis, we have created a version of our smart card for the OpenGear Ross platform. This will be shipping very early next year. We'll be doing demos later this year. It takes up 2 slots in the Ross OpenGear chassis. One of the newer advantages of this, since this was developed after our original smart, is the first OpenGear will be able to support 12G inputs. We'll be starting right away with a JPEG 2000 compression for this. And we are already starting to work on a JPEG XS compression. There are 2 standards of JPEG XS. One that is TR07 and TR08 are the 2 standards from the Video Service Forum that allow the transport stream to be in either ST 2022 or an ST 2110 transport stream. So the first one we're doing is ST 2022 transport stream for JPEG XS. So there'll be other interrupts coming up for that we'll be testing with other manufacturers' products as well. This uses the traditional Ross OpenGear dashboard control. So all the NMOS functionality, all the control configuration would be done through the Ross dashboard OpenGear configuration. Moving on to our InfinityLink product line, which is very similar to our DigiLink. One is a 4-slot chassis versus a 12-slot chassis. You could intermix dark fiber and IP products that we offer. The smaller one, our InfinityLink, is a lower power, more efficient, space efficient to get out there for portable applications. It includes redundant power. It has its own GUI. I know it's hard to see in this, but the second square in the upper left shows our GUI. If you need alarming, if you want to know what loss budgets are, if there's other SNMP capabilities that you're looking for, but you use other third-party control software, our InfinityLink and DigiLink product lines are really where you need to be. Our FiberLink does not offer SNMP. We have a very basic alarm card, but there's no GUI for any programming. Within our InfinityLink and DigiLink, we do offer that. We have multiple products for ASI and 3G and HD transport, including the smart that we just talked about, dark fiber transport, where we can do a 6-channel TDM HD transport. But this series of products uses external SFPs or XFPs or SFP pluses, depending on the product. And we have CWDM and DWDM capability. So we've worked on many networks where people may need dozens of HD or 3G signals over a single strand of fiber. Maybe some are upstream and downstream. We could do that with our CWDM and DWDM capability. That was really one of the strengths of the Artel DigiLink product line when they started back 40 years ago. Our DigiLink product line meets very high-end testing certifications for power load sharing, fan airflow, different chemicals being used, that it's all hot swappable from all the cards as well. But I will say, you know, for a lot of applications that we have, we're getting to the end here, but for some of our fiber installations, I'd like just to share a moment with some installations we've done where, because of security, fiber is very important, of course. So a lot of our defense and military customers, our government customers, are using fiber for security reasons. Some of them, it's not necessarily long distance where they have to go across a range or between multiple bases, where it could just be optical or galvanic isolation between 2 conference rooms. We've worked in a few secure locations where all the equipment was racked in between two conference rooms, and they just needed optical isolation and put a simple short fiber jumper that you can get from Markertek Video between our different transmitters, receivers for, again, optical isolation. Excuse me. Again, we have the multi-mode and single mode versions offered, depending. Some of the older facilities may be more multi-mode based. Of course, single mode gives you greater distances. Also, termination. Sometimes people have a fear of using fiber, but now there are very simple cut and crimp repair kits to repair an optical connection in the field. And I know Markertek Video has a variety of different termination kits that are available as well. So Raf, is there anything else, Raf, that I may have skipped? I know I've been talking a lot, Raphael. Anything you'd like to add, or any questions, Greg, you've seen come up on the screen?
No questions. Yeah, it's very good. Something.
Do you guys help design systems if need be?
Yeah, great question, Greg. We have a team of system architects, solutions architects at Artel. One of my colleagues' favorite questions is, hey, send us a network diagram and we'll help put things together for you and make the recommendations. As I mentioned, between all of our different product lines, sometimes we can come up with 2 or 3 different options depending on what the network capabilities are.
And of course,
the
yeah,
network requirements.
as Paul alluded to, Markertek has a complete custom fiber optic shop capability, so we can terminate all kinds of ends as well as lengths in tactical or installed CMR or anything else. So as an add-on to
Right,
that.
and the fiber reels as well are very popular with some of our customers as well. I know you guys have a full line of the fiber spools and reels as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
Any other questions from the attendees? I don't have any on the board.
All right, as you wait for that, Greg, I mean, there's again a number of other applications just to kind of highlight on different naval ships where they need inspection on the runways for the aircraft carriers. We have full PTZ, so where you need video with PTZ to do runway inspection. We have products installed there. For audio comms, for emergency alerts, they may be using our audio products for comms alerts. You know, again, for long distance at many different Air Force bases where they may have to go 10, 20, 30 kilometers across the facility. We have all that. We have all those capabilities depending on the signals that are required, and we could blend the different signals as well. Do a lot of nuclear power plant or other nuclear submarine applications because of you know, the optical isolation, or also because of noise. You know, noise immunity is very important in fiber optic applications as well.
All right, I don't see any other questions, so I think we can wrap things up. As you guys have all seen here today, Artel has a complete line of fiber solutions for just about anything, really, audio, video, and switching, as well as anything else you might need. And as Paul mentioned earlier, a lot of this is available to the GSA buying network on the schedule through Markertek, as well as on the Markertek website.
Yes, correct. And if there's any specific questions, please reach out to Greg or Raphael or myself. You could reach us through the Artel website, or I can just go back to the beginning for one last, put up our email addresses there one last time. And if anybody has a need to reach out, there's Raphael and myself's contact information. And of course, you could reach Greg at greg@towerpower.com, right, Greg? Isn't that good for you?
Or Greg at markertek.com. They both work.
All right. Yeah, there we go. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I just want to take a moment again to thank you for the time. As Greg was saying there, we have, I believe one of my colleagues, Randy, may be on the call with us, who handles a lot of our government customers. We can, between Randy, myself, Raphael, Frank, and the other team at Markertek, we have a number of engineers to help with applications. If you need some pricing information, all the data sheets are on the Markertek website, as well as the Artel website. The different white papers we have are there as well. If there is a specific training or a more detailed presentation you would like on any of the specific product lines, I know I gave more of a high-level overview here, but please reach out to us. Happy to do a separate, more dive deeper into some of our technology as well, if that is an option.
And for anybody on today, this will also be posted on the Markertek YouTube channel. So if you need to reference it back at a later date or share with a colleague, please feel free to do so.
Awesome. That's great, Greg. I will definitely refer people there.
Thanks to Paul Seiden and Raphael Fonseca for their help today, and Artel as well. And have a good day, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Greg.